Good evening, folks, and welcome to Wall, Texas. I'm Manny Diaz, and what a game we saw tonight as the Mason Punchers stunned the Wall Hawks 27-21, and what a thriller this one was. This one came down to the wire. You know, I think this is what we anticipated. We anticipated a very hard-nosed football game, and that's what we got. Most importantly, a very good win for the Mason Punchers tonight. A milestone was set in this. We'll hear from both coaches tonight, plus their QB1s. But first things first, those Twisted Root highlights.
Tonight's Cover 1 highlights are presented by Twisted Root Burger Company.
A battle of the QB1s it was tonight. Otto Wofford and the Mason Punchers visiting Mason Fuchs and the Wall Hawks. Meanwhile, Punchers head coach Kade Burns going for career win number 100 tonight. More importantly, this one was as advertised and did not disappoint. First quarter action, not gonna lie, it was kind of a slow start for both teams. Snap gets away here from backup quarterback Garrett Bridgeford, and Mason takes advantage, taking over deep in Wall territory. Next Punchers possession, the Hawks score a little payback on fourth down. Gage Wysoon with a big play in the backfield. Under a minute to go in the first, Punchers getting it together. Otto Wofford hooks up with Chandler Bunton, and this kid is cruising down the sideline, brought down inside the Wall 5-yard line. Start of the second quarter now, Wofford calls his own number, sneaking in, giving the Punchers the first score of the game, 7-0 Mason. Ensuing the Hawks drive, they give it to this kid, Sutton Braden, who breaks off a nice chunk of change, first of two big runs in the drive. A little later, Hawks in Mason territory in a weird play here. Looked like Braden was down before the ball came out, but the refs say, well, the rock came out first, Punchers ball. Next Mason drive, the Punchers chipping away at that Wall defense. Wofford to Ethan Powell for the first down. Few plays later, they give it to Clay Clariner, and he takes it in for the 15-yard touchdown. And talk about excited here. Punchers up 14-0. That's how the first half would end. Third quarter score now 14-7 Mason, but here come the Hawks. Mason Fuchs to a wide open Coleman Kuhn, making reservations for 6, and we now have a tie ball game. But right back come the Punchers. Hand off to Clay Clariner. Call this dude the Marathon Man. Running game tonight, and 85 yards later, Mason retakes the lead, making it 21-14 just like that. But the Hawks not interested in throwing in the towel. Holla at your boy Sutton Braden crossing midfield. Few plays later, Fuchs calls his own number, and he's in for 6. And once again, this game is tied. Fourth quarter now, Wall with the rock, Fuchs to Kuhn, and the Hawks are cooking in Puncher territory. The drive would eventually stall, having to settle for a field goal, but no good. Game still tied. Mason, of course, looking to capitalize. Handoff to Cockerham, giving the Punchers the lead. Extra point no good, though, making it 27-21. $1:20 to go now in the fourth quarter. Wall facing 4th and 11. Fuchs looking downfield, but cannot find his man. Ball game. Mason pulls off the dub tonight, winning 27-21.
Tonight's Cover 1 postgame sound is brought to you by the Caverns of Sonora.
You get tested, mentally. You get thrown down, you get beat up, and are you going to get back up, or are you going to lay down? And I felt like our kids kept getting back up and kept getting back up, and it was back and forth there at the second half, and I felt like I thought they were into it. I thought momentum was swinging our way there for a while, and we just came up short in the end.
I think the biggest takeaway is we need to come off harder in the first half. We can't have a cold first half where we're down 14-0, then try to come back from that at a halftime. We need to play what we did in the second half, both halves, and put together a good game.
Did you anticipate a showdown like this tonight?
Well, we had talked to our kids about being in a tight game. You know, I don't want our guys to come into a game and not know for sure, you know, not be ready for a tight game, because now you're in a tight game and they're not mentally equipped to handle the situations that occur in a game like this. So we told the guys that expect a tight game, and so that when it happens, you know how to handle yourself, you know how to stay focused and concentrate and stay in the moment and understand that there's going to be some good plays and some bad plays, but the next play is the most important one, and we felt like we did that tonight very well.
What did it mean to kind of start off the season against a team like this and get a dub the way you guys did?
Oh no, we have some young guys on the team which are starting to learn and grow up fast, so a win against a good team like this really helps us see where we're at, see what we can get better at for bigger games later down the road.
100th career win tonight. How does that feel?
You know, it's an afterthought after the game. You know, I mean, it just it means you're getting older. I've got the gray hairs to show it, and but it means you've had a lot of really great players. So you know, we've been fortunate enough to have that, and we have a great community. The stands were packed on both sides, Wall and Mason. It just means you've had a successful group of kids and a community that really supports the kids, and that was evident tonight.
It was awesome. I've been playing with him. This is my 3rd year. He's like a second dad to me. I'm so happy for him. I love it. It's fun.
Tonight's play of the game is brought to you by AUM Holistic Therapies.
All right, let's get to the AUM Holistic Therapies play of the game. This one courtesy of Mr. Clay Clarner, who went the distance for 85 yards in the 3rd quarter. This was a monster play for the Punchers. Good enough for tonight's AUM Holistic Therapies play of the game.
It's time for Mannys Cover1 Final Call of the Night, presented by Pettit Productions.
Well, unfortunately, nobody likes talking a loss or nobody likes taking an L, but it had to come at the expense of somebody tonight, and it did at the expense of the Wall Hawks. But one thing's for sure, this Mason Puncher team, very good. Defensively, that front 7 came to play. Very big, very powerful. Offensively, these kids love to run the football. And if you think about it, for both teams, it was like standing in front of the mirror and looking directly at each other. And for the Hawks, well, I think this is a learning moment for them. You build off games like this. Everyone wants to talk about the win, but I think it's what you learn from the loss. I guarantee you, whenever they come out against big teams or come up in big games like this down the stretch, we could see it next week against Sonora or next week against Cisco. We could see it down the road against Midland Christian or Sonora. Now that they got a taste of what it feels like to be in a big ball game like this, especially early on in the season, they're going to remember that. A guy that really showed me a lot tonight, senior running back and linebacker Sutton Braden. This kid balled out of control. Whenever his number was called, made some big runs and just stood up to that Mason offense defensively. I think this kid has got a lot of potential. I think this Wall Hawks team has a lot of potential this season. Nonetheless, should be a good one next week against Cisco. What a game tonight. This is the reason why Cover1 was created, to highlight the best games in the Concho Valley. Mason, Wall most certainly showed out tonight. Congrats to Mason head coach Kade Burns on his 100th career win. But before we leave you tonight, well, we did some miking up of the fans and getting their take. It was fun for them too. All right, next week should be another good one as the Grape Creek Eagles host the Cristobal Cougars, my hometown Cougars. We'll see you next week in Grape Creek. Good night.
We were pretty nervous coming in, and then the first half was like, oh, okay, we're doing better, and then the second half was definitely intense, like we thought it would be.
It was really nerve-wracking because it was close the whole time, and it was just like really fun to be able to watch like such good football this week. So
sitting with a former coach, you know,
yeah,
it was
true. Yes,
it was pretty intense, especially when you had a kid on the field and we knew the game was on the line.
It was really a hard loss, but they played good, and we'll come back next week.